if you like politics and if you like to do something for the downtrodden people, and if you stand for equality, and if you stand for social welfare of the whole human being, and that interest should lead anyone to politics. I can definitely say that I came to politics due to the background of my family itself.
What do you think about your when you look back about your childhood days and about your communist upbringing?
Yes, I'm happy and proud that being a communist, and communism. When I read Communist Manifesto, etc., when I grown up,
This discussion on secularism will not be complete if I don't ask you about Shabrimala.
we didn't dilute at any stand. We are for women, women's equality.
No, but will you still provide security to women who want to enter Shabrimala temple? Because I
Only
read,
because of that court order.
yeah.
Court order came to
Yeah.
give protection.
But the
for
court
the
hasn't really
worshippers.
said anything clearly. Court has not said whether the previous order stays or there's actually no legal status quo on the order.
Court said that if anyone want to worship in Shabrimala, you should give protection.
Will you?
That is a clear
Yeah.
statement you from the court.
Hello and welcome to The Wire. I'm Arfa Khanum. Right now we are in Kannur district and we are in Matanur constituency from where KK Shailaja, or she is popularly known as Shailaja teacher, she's contesting election from there. Shailaja teacher is the rock star health minister in Kerala government. She is the woman who led Kerala's battle against Nipah virus as well as COVID-19. And she, in a way, gave the Kerala model to rest of India. Madam, welcome to the show. So as someone who comes from North India and who's hardly seen anybody going up the ladder in terms of political, electoral politics without money or muscle power, this is quite refreshing, or I must say, it's fascinating to see a school teacher not just getting elected to the Kerala Assembly, but actually now being now the health minister of the state of Kerala. So, madam, how's your campaign going? Do you think what you've fought already, your battle against the Nipah virus and as well as COVID-19, was much more tougher than this election?
Election is a political campaign. It's not like the fight against the virus. But the election, I think that we can win in this election. Kerala left front government will came to office again, because the last 5 years we had done so many things for the poor, so many social welfare activities, and also the high-tech development activities taken place here. And you said earlier that how did you come to the politics, by muscle power or money power, like that. I think that those who come to politics by muscle or money power, they can't exist. One day the people will understand them, how they are coming. That background is not good. But I can say that if you come to politics by, if you like politics and if you like to do something for the downtrodden people, and if you stand for equality, and if you stand for social welfare of the whole human being, and that interest should lead anyone to politics. I can definitely say that I came to politics due to the background of my family itself.
I will come to your family because there is a lot of interest that people want to know, not just the politician that you are, but also the person that you are, your family background, especially your communist family background, that you were raised by very brave, strong women. I would come to that, but since it's election time, let me ask you a few questions on related to elections. So you said, of course, it's admirable that you fought this battle against coronavirus. You were even invited to United Nations to speak on the issue. And I would say, I have to give it to you that you created some kind of a model, like a Kerala model, I would say, for the rest of India to follow with regards to COVID-19. But then when second wave arrived, do you think there was a lack of efficiency on your part that you did not do as well as you did the first time?
Yes, I can say that there was no first and second time in Kerala. Continuously, we were working to contain this dangerous virus. And here happened what we expected the second time. If you called the second time, We expected what happened in second time, because the first time itself we adopted a policy and we are continuing that policy. I think you know that the virus occurred in Kerala first in India. Just after Wuhan, it came to Kerala. That is on January 30th of 2020. And when we heard that a potential virus is spreading in Wuhan, China, at that time itself we start our preparedness here. When I happened to read some articles and I happened to read the statement of World Health Organization that a highly potential virus belonging to the coronavirus family, a SARS coronavirus 2, a novel coronavirus, is spreading in Wuhan. At the same time, I called my health secretary and we have a discussion together. I'm sure that that virus will come to Kerala because so many students are there in Wuhan University, they are studying there. And I remembered that some students completing their medical education, they came to me for internship, etc. That's from Wuhan. And when I heard the name Wuhan, I anticipated that they will come to Kerala. At the same time, we started our preparation. At once, we had a meeting of rapid response team, and we opened our control room in state level, and then we had a very good meeting with the 14 district heads, and we asked them to open control room there. We had a mock drill at that time. Even if the virus will come to Kerala, what will you do? And the mock drill we conducted. Some people ridiculed us. Some they said, "What are you doing?
Over
Yeah,
preparing.
over preparing, overacting, that the virus is not here, etc." But that Nipah virus experience that taught us to be prepared for anything hardship, any hardship, and that preparation helped us very much. After a week of our preparation, this virus came to Kerala, and one flight came from Wuhan, and there are so many passengers in it. Out of them, three become positive, and the airport itself we screened them, and we adopted a policy at that time, protocol and standard operating procedure. Everything was prepared when they came to Kerala. And our strategy is to trace first and quarantine and test and treat and isolate. Tracing means we can find the symptoms or like that, and then only we can test for the COVID-19 virus. And everyone know that the incubation period of the virus is 14 days, just as the Nipah virus, and we have to put them in quarantine at least for 14 days. But the starting stage, we asked 28 days quarantine. Those who came from abroad, we insisted 28 days quarantine. Now it is 14 days. And at that time, we are thoroughly watching the people who were under quarantine. And we are finding whether any symptoms are occurring. If a slight symptom we find out, at once we take the swab and we send it to virology lab. At that time, we have only one virology lab in Kerala, that is National Virology Lab in Alapi district.
That's commendable, madam, and not just I would say people in India, but all over the world would want to watch this program and would want to know how Kerala fought against this virus, this battle. I would say I nearly won it before this second wave arrived. But what I want to know from you is also that because of your experience with Nipah virus, and for our viewers, it's also important to mention that there was a film which was made, which was inspired by Shailaja teacher's role as a health minister and what she did in her battle against the virus. So do you think your prior experience and your timely intervention with regard to the Nipah virus, that also helped you in preparing, as other people say, over-preparing?
Yes, that experience helped us. That taught us we should over prepare for this kind of virus and this kind of attack. Nipah, that's different. That occurred here in Kerala. From bats, it transmitted to human beings here itself. And it is in a village in Calicut district, and we just rushed to that district and that place, and we closed that area, and we didn't allow to move anyone from to outside, and we gave every protection inside. We supplied them foods, supplied them medicines, and our health workers were watching them each and every time. I stayed there in Calicut district, and my health team also concentrated there itself, and we contained Nipah within 40 days. And only the first infected persons, that is I think 19 persons out of 17 died, and two get the virus out, and they escaped from the virus, or we can cure that persons and they discharged from the hospital.
There could have been many more casualties if there was no timely intervention.
Definitely,
Rightly.
if we didn't intervene timely, that will spread throughout the place.
And I was really impressed when I was coming to this village. Even before that, it's been a few days that my team has been roaming around here in Kerala. That even in interior villages, even when there is one person, on his bicycle or auto rickshaw drivers, even they are wearing masks. Don't you think you had the advantage of Kerala being an almost a fully literate state, and that is why it was easier to convince people. It was easier for you to convey the message if you compare that to, say, let's say Uttar Pradesh or Bihar or Assam.
Here, it is not too easy, to convince the people to wear mask. That is a difficult thing for the person. Wearing mask throughout the day, or when they mingle each other, they cannot speak, they cannot laugh. That is a difficult thing. But we should have to do that, because Kerala is a thickly populated state. Our population density is 860 out of 1 square kilometer, and our
That's a disadvantage, yeah.
national, that is a disadvantage. That's a challenge. And our national level, it is only 430, that population density. Another challenge is facing by Kerala. It is not a challenge, it is a positive thing. But in front of an infectious virus, we should have to count it as a challenge. That is the population density of the old age. Old age population is 14 to 15% in Kerala, out of the total population. And also one more challenge we are facing, that is the lifestyle diseases, non-communicable diseases. Kerala is known as the diabetic capital of India because of our changed.
Also, the aging population is another disadvantage that you have
Yes, that
in Kerala.
that is. And also Kerala become a urban state. No rural place, but all the rural area are becoming urban, and our state is, we can say, it's a urban, and the mobility of the people is too more than other states. That we have
Let me
interior
let me now ask
roads.
you some political questions, since this is election time, and also fantastic. You did a commendable job, and I think a lot of the damage that could have been if you did not really act on time, and that is why I think it was some international magazine called you as one of the 20 most influential women leaders around the world. So I was looking at the billboards that have been put out there. One said, surely LDF. I thought this was, even if opinion polls suggest that LDF may be able to come back to power again and Pinarayi Vijayan may be re-elected to power. But don't you think it is a little overconfidence on your part to campaign that way, that it's surely LDF?
We are convincing our workers, followers, that don't be overconfident, because this is election, this is politics, and our opponents are raising evidence. No, without any evidence, they are raising some allegations against us, and that is going on. And we are training our followers that not to become overconfident, but nothing to lose confidence here, because we had done so many things. In the case of this containment of virus itself, there are two questions in front of us. Either we should allow the virus to spread the whole society to get herd immunity. The opposition leader in assembly asked me in the previous stage, the starting stage, Minister, why are you frightening the people? This is like flu, and this will come to the society and it will go, and people will get herd immunity out of that. Look at America, they are doing well. They are using mitigation method. Then why are you putting these containment things? At that time, only 25 people died in America. But that frightened me, actually, our government also. And I said in assembly that, look, 25 persons died in USA because of this COVID. If it come to Kerala, what is the situation? USA is a well-built state, technologically high, they are very well built, and but ours is a small state of a country, a developing country, India. and how can we resist this dangerous killer virus? We should have to act more. That is the problem.
No, but are you trying to say that this whole election is revolving around the battle against coronavirus, the management by the Kerala government? Do you think it is the single issue in this whole election? Because it is not just the virus, but also the lockdown that created unemployment in some parts of the country, that also created starvation, even homelessness. That thankfully did not happen in Kerala because of the prosperity that it has. But are you convinced that is this going to be your trademark, your success story? That look, we got you out of the virus all on our own, and government worked efficiently, and that is why you should vote for us, and that is why it is surely LDF. Are you trying to say that?
Definitely, that marks go to our government itself. Our Honorable Chief Minister, he acted well at that time, and he convened the meeting of the whole department, all secretaries, etc. And our government started working at that time. It is our government, it is our Honorable Chief Minister who declared the first package to corona virus containment at that time. 20,000 crores package he declared for the poor people. At that time, we decided to open common kitchens throughout the places where the virus occurred or any clusters formed, or in the corona care centers where where coronavirus affected peoples were put, and we opened community kitchens where we prepare.
But the opposition is saying that all of this was done as a very populist measure because you knew that the elections are around the corner, and you had to not just do but overdo things in order to win people to your side. And the opposition did not have this advantage.
They can say so, but in a crucial time, it is our duty to help the people. We supplied food for more than, I think, more than 2 crores of people at that time. We supplied prepared foods, and also we supplied food kits, which contains rice, grains, pulses, etc. And we supplied it to whole family. For what? It is not for election. It is to prepare the hardship, prepare against the hardship that during that lockdown period people cannot work, they cannot get any money. At that time we should have to help them.
But if you really win, then you will also be defeating history, because history suggests that for the last 4 decades, alternately either the LDF or the UDF have been coming to power. So that's going to be defeating history if you come back to power. So let me ask this question again: do you think that this is your management of the coronavirus and also the kind of economic situation that it created and the way it was handled? This is your mascot. This is what you want to tell the people, that we did this for you and that is why you vote for us? Or you think there are any other issues as well?
Not only that, the coronavirus containment, that is one of our activities only. And at that time we supplied the social welfare pensions. When we come to power 2016, the social welfare pensions are 600 rupees. That the previous government didn't they supplied that pension properly. And when we come to power, 18 months of pension they didn't distribute it. We have to distribute that thing also, pending cases also. And we increased that social welfare pensions to 1600 rupees, and we supplied that pensions to their home. No old age people should have to come to bank or treasuries, etc. Our workers, or not only our workers, our staff and these cooperative employees, they will go to the houses and distribute the pension.
So this is not for the votes, but you did this for the people of Kerala. Now let me ask you a couple of ideological questions, because this election, especially Kerala, how it is projected on the national political map, is also some kind of a counter to the majoritarian saffron politics introduced by the BJP that we've been witnessing for the last 6-7 years. Do you think the way BJP has made headway into Kerala, does it bother you? Do you think there is now a third major player? It is not just between the LDF and the UDF, but there is BJP as well.
Yes, BJP is the ruling party here. But we are afraid of their politics actually.
You're not. You are.
We, everyone who want to protect the constitution of India. Our politics is that we should have to protect the constitution. The very preamble of our constitution states that India is a secular state and India is a democratic state, and we want to go to socialism, that equality. And if we want to protect the secularism, democracy, and socialism, we have to oppose the ideology of BJP and the RSS, etc. We are against every fundamentalist, whether it is Muslim fundamentalists or Christian fundamentalists or Hindu fundamentalists. Left is against it. Here in Kerala, we have a very good left democratic front. Not only left, but the actual democratic parties are with us, and we have a very good left democratic front that is a model. And I want to state that it's a model of governance system also. During this COVID-19, the whole world discussed about the governance system. You know that UK, USA, etc., there are so many good things that they are doing, but they cannot go to the grassroots level. The people, when thousands of people caught COVID, there is no place to admit them to the hospital. And they have to die out of that. 3 lakhs people died in America.
No, madam, but just coming back to the BJP and its headway into Kerala, how do you think, why are you so confident that a state like one state out of 28, 29 states can take on the Modi government, can take on this huge saffron surge? You've even been unseated in West Bengal, even in Tripura for that matter. So why do you think that you will be able to take on the BJP just with being with one state in power, instead of maybe strengthening the Congress party that is a national party and the principal opposition? Don't you think it has to be Congress party who should take on the BJP at the national level?
Yes, Congress should take a powerful stand on this, but they are not taking.
They are not?
They are not, I can think so. Congress is not the old Congress that Nehru or Gandhiji, what they said, the Congress is not. I think they are not standing for that. If Congress strongly oppose this partisan or this differentiative politics or this kind of not they are not standing for secularism, for fundamentalism and separating thing. They are against the minorities, etc. And if the Congress stands still and they act against these things, it is easy to tackle this problem. It is easy to contain this spreading of the fundamental
But
ideas.
Rahul Gandhi, time and again, he keeps talking about secularism, liberal values, even
Yes.
at the cost of losing elections.
They are speaking, the speaking itself didn't do anything. They should work hard. They should stand for strong ideologies. What is happening in Goa? You listen. All the Congress elected representatives next day changed to BJP, and in Pondicherry nowadays they went to BJP. How it happened?
Is it not a reflection on the member of assembly than the Congress party, than the organization?
Yes, in here it is.
It's more of a doing of the MLAs than the party. Don't you think
Yes,
so?
we are saying that we should have to wait and see whether in Kerala also they are going to do like that. But Kerala, that is a different kinds of politics and discussions going on here. They cannot directly go to BJP, but someone have in mind, I think so. But it is happening throughout India. You should understand that Congress is our former ruling party of India, and four-third majority. They got the power in India. There are so many chances, and they are not utilizing that chances against BJP. That is, we are blaming them. They should utilize that chance. In Kerala, left front is powerful, and we are opposing Congress politics and BJP politics. The financial case, both of them have same ideology, financial thing.
Both of them, you're saying that they're financially right wing. Are you trying to say
Yes,
that?
financially right wing. Definitely we can say so, because when Congress ruled India, nothing different happened here. Because Gandhiji said that if you take any decision, please look at the poorest of the poor. And that never happened. Nowadays also in India, there are so many poor people
So, what in your view
downtrodden.
is the right strategy to counter, to take on the saffron politics of the BJP and RSS? If you were the person who were to design it, how would you design it? What is your model of countering the politics of BJP and RSS?
Yes, nothing but we should have to stand for unity in diversity. India, there are thousands of castes, and I think more than six religions are here, and our language is different. More than 1,600 languages are in India. Everyone have their own identity, and the worships are different. Everything is different. We should have to understand that it is different and that is individual, and we should have to agree that. And amidst that, we should have to inculcate a confidence that we are all Indians first. We are Indians. Indian Hindus are Indian Hindus. Indian Muslims are Indian Muslims. And the Christians in India are Indian Christians. And Indian citizens, that is the most important thing. They should have to worship their own gods.
But what would you do in a democracy if people decide, if people are again and again choosing a party that divides people in the name of religion, who does not respect the constitution as they should? What would you do in a democracy?
It's a pity that peoples are not taking their stand according to their own stand. There are so many propagandas. Sometimes I think in North, I don't know, some political pressures are on their in our on our citizens, because in villages landlords are there. They are not free from landlordism in India. Fundamentalism is there. They cannot take their own stands. In Kerala, the fundamentalism it ended the 1957 onwards. We started some kind of acts and some kind of laws in our legislature that stopping the eviction from the land. That was our first revolutionary act passed in Kerala Assembly. And after that act, no one could evict anyone from the piece of land. But in North, I think thousands of people are now also under this landlordism,
Landless
and they
people, yeah.
cannot. Landless people are they cannot frame their own ideology or
Also, you're
their own
saying that they are also
politics.
victim of propaganda. You're saying they are
Yes,
also victim of
sometimes
propaganda.
they become
But
not
this,
only
yeah.
propaganda, but as you said, first the muscle power and money power
Right.
also.
So this discussion on secularism will not be complete if I don't ask you about Shabrimala. You know, people who believe in the left ideology, even on the national level, if you see, the way the left had taken a stand in 2018, that was to respect the court's verdict. Even the chief minister himself led the women's wall movement. But after that, there was 2019 poll debacle, right? You think because of that drubbing, you got discouraged and now your stand is very cautious and you have somehow diluted your stand in favor of the women entering the temple?
We didn't dilute at any stand. We are for women, women's equality. But the place of that worship is a different thing, you know. And the court, we are only protecting the court order. We are doing according to the court order. In ancient days, not ancient, very in the previous days, in 30s and 40s, there are no temples to worship for the poor people. The upper caste are not allowing peoples to enter into any temple, and they are not allowing women to any temple. The situation changed here. There are so many temples, they can go there for worship, and women can enter any temple here. But Shabarimala also, the previous days, women entered there. Then that happened some days before, women are not going to the temple. It is not the crucial issue now, entering women to that
No,
temple,
but
you
will
know.
you still provide security to women who want to enter Shabrimala temple? Because I
Only
read,
because of that court order.
yeah,
Court order came to
yeah.
give protection
But the
for
court
the
hasn't really
worshippers.
said anything clearly. Court has not said whether the previous order stays or there's actually no legal status quo on the order.
Court said that if anyone want to worship in Shabarimala, you should give protection.
Will you?
That is a clear
Yeah.
statement you from the court. Last time,
So you
not this
don't
time.
think you don't think that you have diluted your stand on
Never
Shabrimala?
diluted, only obeying the court order. We are not for having a march to Shabarimala, women march. That situation changed. There are so many places of worship here for women, and we should not show any muscle power to enter to Shabarimala, etc. If anyone asks whether women can enter Shabarimala, everyone will say that yes, God is not never show differentiation between men and women. But
But as
that issue is
leaders,
different.
but I'm saying as leaders, your job is also to lead people, not just follow people. So even if the society may not be ready for women to enter the temple, as leaders, don't you think, and as a very progressive party who talks about also feminism, I will come to that feminism issue as well, but I'm saying, don't you think your job is also to lead it, not just follow the people.
Yes, what is the crucial issue nowadays? We have to lead women and men to that issue, to give equality. I think worship, if poor people cannot enter anywhere for worship, and that the worship become the crucial thing. At the previous day, the caste also, caste is for caste politics at that time is for making equality. Nowadays that change. Caste politics is for some castes only. At that time, it is for downtrodden people, and Communist Party also agreed with
So,
that.
right. So, your stand on Shabrimala is that you are not against women entering the temple and you will not give them security because you think the court has not ordered for giving women security while they plan to enter the temple.
I'm saying that nowadays, no issue for forceful action
Entry.
in Shabrimala, and it will happen
So, we
if
should
they like
forget
it.
about the women's wall that was
No,
inaugurated by
women
the
are,
chief
if they
minister.
are willing to go, one day they will go, I think. But we are not
You're
sending
fine
any.
with it.
We are not sending any women to Shabarimala. We are collecting the women and doing the other activities like women self-help group and women entrepreneurship and women's entry in politics and women's entry in everywhere. We want to make the women self-earning and we want to provide them a respectable place in the society.
So, one last question on your family background. Tell me how it is to be raised by communist parents. Do you think these values that you have in you were imbibed at a very early age in your childhood? What kind of reflections do you have when now you are a minister in the government, being hailed by world leaders uh, with international acclaim? What do you think about when you look back about your childhood days and about your communist upbringing?
Yes, I'm happy and proud that being a communist. And communism, when I read Communist Manifesto, etc., when I grown up. But even before, when I was a child, I was fond of communism because my grandma is a fighter, fighting against the untouchability, fighting for a piece of land, and she is with the other women, other poor people in the village. We have some lands because my grandma's father was working in a estate, a tea estate owned by British, and he earned some money, and we have a very good status at that time in our family. But my grandma and my granduncle, they joined Communist Party to fight against the poor people. The condition of the poor people in our village was not satisfactory. They were starving and they were working for the landlords. They are not earning sufficient money or food. At that time, my grandma and granduncles joined Communist Party to fight for them, to getting a piece of land, to walk through the common path, and to take bath in a pond.
Your message to the young girls who are wanting to enter politics?
Yes, when I was a child, my grandma usually take me also to the Communist Party meetings, and I used to hear the speeches made by eminent leaders like AKG, EMS, and N.E. Belram, etc. At that time, I didn't understand what they are saying, but I felt that they are for people, poor people, and they are working hard for the poor people. My granduncle also worked hard in Communist Party, and we become poor out of that because at that time working for Communist Party is to face so many hardships. The Malabar Special Police was there to attack Communist Party, to stop the development of Communist Party. Even when the independent days, when we got independence in 1947, but 1948 Communist Party faced a severe attack from the ruling front also. That Malabar Special Police attacked, and my granduncles had to undergo severe beating, and they were sent to jail. They have to face so many hardships. At that time, as a little one, I thought that too, they are fighting for the poor, but they are beating them. And
So you're saying the women should be prepared for everything when they enter politics. Thank you very much for the interview.
thank you, dear.
द वायर के और वीडियोस देखने के लिए सब्सक्राइब करें और बेल आइकन पर क्लिक करें। स्वतंत्र पत्रकारिता की आर्थिक मदद करने के लिए डिस्क्रिप्शन में दिए गए लिंक पर जाएं और अपनी राशि चुनें।